Hi guys, thanks for checking the video out. We've got Roger Cleveland here. If he doesn't know it, it's not worth knowing when it comes to wedges. So
we do a little work.
Yeah, so Roger is only over here for a few days, but you tend to spend a lot of your time with tour pros and more importantly fitting tour pros. So I'd quite like to have a little bit of your knowledge on how you go about fitting a tour pro. Is it kind of similar to an amateur? Or?
Well, yeah, it should be. It should be. What I think one of the things you wanted to talk about is shafts, and what I like to do is have a little softer shaft in the lob wedge.
Okay.
Whatever your highest loft is, it can be 56. Okay. But most of the pros use 58 or 60 in their lob wedges.
Yeah.
But in the middle wedges, in the gap wedges, I like to kind of match what they have in their set.
Okay.
Whatever they have in their set, if I like to match that, and then go a little bit softer in flex in the lob wedge, so they get a little bit more feel.
Okay.
But I want it to be a certain weight. Okay. I want them to be able to have resistance, especially in the lob wedge, because they for little shots you have to have rhythm and be able to feel that. If it's too light, okay, and too stiff, you're just not going to have much feel. And there are wedges. I mean, there isn't one perfect. I mean, all the wedge manufacturers like True Temper and KBS and Nippon Shaft make beautiful shafts, steel shafts. But I like to have a little bit softer one in the lob wedge.
And that's what tends to happen, doesn't it? When you go to like a wedge flex, what would be on like the stock shafts, that's what they tend to do.
That's what they would tend to do is and they don't create that much more spin. It's kind of 200 to 300 RPMs out of 9,000, so it's almost noise. Yeah. So it doesn't matter, but I love the feel. I want as much feel in the lob wedge as you can.
Yeah, and I think when it comes to shaft, feel tends to be the thing rather than performance.
Well, so, feel is performance.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, so.
Yeah, true. Yeah. So then, when you've got a tour pro, do you tend to have them having the same bounces, like generically, or you find different tour pros will need different bounces?
Well, they have different techniques and different preferences, and some will be a little bit shallower. Okay. Some will be steeper, will need a little bit more bounce. Okay, when they're steeper. It depends also on the conditions. A lot of pros take two wedges.
Okay.
In the lob category. Okay, they'll be similar grinds, but there'll be probably 2 degrees difference in bounce. So one will have maybe 12, and one will have 10 in their lob wedge.
Okay.
So if it's softer conditions, they'll pull that out. If you get up north, let's say at the British Open or something, it gets really dry, or those kind of conditions, or the U.S. Open at Oakmont this year is going to be firm, okay, and so
they'll go
they
slightly
might
less.
go a little bit less, but there's no less than 8 degrees.
Okay.
Believe me, and if you don't do that, the tendency or is to dig, and you don't want to dig.
Okay.
You want to bounce. You want to use it. It's your friend.
It is your friend. And do you find that you'll need to take it in the truck and actually change the grinds, actually grind it a bit different from standard?
I like the guys to have a couple different wedges with them and carry them.
Okay.
In a lob wedge, not any other loft, whatever the lob wedge, whether it's 58 or 60. And they, we give them the wedge, but they go through the lob wedge because they practice out here a lot with it, and you should replace it. If you work at your short game, you should probably replace it, at least once a year.
Yeah.
The lob wedge.
And the tour pro, how often are they changing theirs?
They'll, depending upon how much practice they do, they'll go at 1.5 month and a half.
Month and a half. And will they tend to just switch them out, because you hear, I think it was Nicholas Fast used to have like practice wedges and normal wedges, or do they tend to just swap them out now?
Well, we have grinds now that are so close to what everybody likes, they just switch them out.
Okay.
We used to have to grind everything, and now it took my job away. I'm doing odd things. But it's better. It's great for the amateur because they get exactly what the pros are using.
So you're
off the shelf.
Okay, so yeah, so you're finding that you're not having to change
once in a
too
while
much.
I do a little bit, but not much these days.
And are they tending to, like the wide-soled version that you've
Yep.
put into the MD3, are you finding a lot of the tour guys have gone into that one?
Yep. Not so much over here, but in the States, I see more guys using it.
And is that because the grass is...
Well, it's great for firm conditions.
Okay.
It really is. Well, they have it's just firmer conditions over there than this.
Yeah. Are you suggesting it rains more over here?
Slightly.
Okay, then we'll leave it there.
Yep.
But no, thanks for your time.
Pleasure.
It's always some real good information there, and shows you how kind of the technology has moved on, that the consumer at home is getting what the tour pro is getting.
Absolutely. And we, to just add a little bit more of the technology, we had a groove rule change with the RNA and the USGA about 5 years ago, and so we mill all our grooves because the specifications to get and the tolerances that we have to keep to maximize spin to those rules, we have to mill.
Okay.
We have to cut in every groove. We don't form it. And so we have the most aggressive grooves in our lob wedges, 58 and 60. And then we start to go down a little bit in spin because you've got a back pin. You want to keep the ball there. You don't want to be ripping it back. So we actually reduce our spin slightly in the sand wedge, and even more so in the 52 and 50 to go into the set to match the set. So
because you get the tour guys, they tend to flight it in slightly lower than I think the amateur perceives. So again, if you're overspinning it, you'll get that that stally one, won't you? Which is not really what you want.
No, you want control.
Yeah. No. Great points. Anyway, thank you for your time.
Pleasure.
Get some comments down below. I hope to catch you soon.